I love your setup in the background. That's
I did.
amazing.
It's not always like this. All your guys' work, literally right behind me. So, which is crazy to think now, right? So,
Yeah.
It's insane. No, you're telling me. This is so cool. So I'm Eric, one of the creators. Chris is also with us here, as is
yes.
Lauren, who you've been talking to.
Absolutely. With you two, there's also the Mayer brothers as well.
Yes,
I was
yes.
looking it up, not in a creepy way. I was just figuring.
Not at all. Oh, no.
We just want to get some like real players talking about how much they love the game. And I'm just so happy what everyone's done is to ask if you had your game nearby, but everybody has like been ready with their
Yes.
Doomlings merch.
Yes.
It's so good.
So far, you have the
And-
maximum amount of Doomlings, so you've won.
2 first edition full games, right? Just for the variety, playing different
So
game
cool.
modes, everything you can think of, right? Mix and matching. As the game is like, almost, you can do that with any part of it, right? It's crazy.
What your first impressions of Doomlings were?
Yeah, the first time I ever saw Doomlings was on an Instagram ad. It blew my mind because I was looking at deck building games, so it like fit right in my alley. Then just seeing like the animation and everything. Okay, like this is literally what we're doing right now. We're looking at DC deck building games. Could Doomlings fit in a deck building game scenario with a bunch of players who play deck building games with like really high complexity? And Doomlings kind of check the boxes. Though it's very easy to get, it also has the complexity if you get more cards. Like Overlush is a prime example. Doomlings Overlush, also the expansions bring extra complexity to the game. Doomlings Fast Game is like, let's get this quick and easy. Where like Overlush expansions, it's like, okay, let's think a little bit more about what we're gonna be doing before we do it. I guess to compare, I always found that Doomlings and Yu-Gi-Oh! Like when you first got into Yu-Gi-Oh! It was so easy, right? You just play 1 card per turn. Yu-Gi-Oh! Developed into this massive thing where you take that basics back. You play 1 card per turn. Your trap cards, Doomlings has their like, how could you say, like the trump cards, the cancel action cards. But then as you see more cards get played, you see people start canceling your actions. You're like, okay, so now I gotta start thinking about the way I'm going to play these things, right? I can't just unleash every time I see a scenario. If someone plays another trait, maybe I shouldn't cancel that. I should wait for the trait first to see if that's the better option. You can start thinking about it and getting really deep into it, or you can keep it as simple as you want, right? Like it could be just the power crunch. Things easily takes that point of, I'm just gonna get either the biggest numbers or I'm gonna try to play it smart with effects. So you can go both routes, which is fun.
I just
That's
play really
awesome.
randomly and I lose constantly.
Oh yeah, I mean that's also a strat, and some people win by doing that. If you've never heard of Doomlings before, as they say all the time, Pokemon meets Uno. You get the colors, you get those characters you love, those nice round, colorful cards, and then it's just easy. You play 1 card at a time. Sometimes you can play more through effects, but just read what you got, and you'll understand the game so easily. Reading the rules, getting yourself to read the rules just like any other card game. Doomlings has that 1-minute tutorial video. Learn how to play. I watched both the Doomlings 1-minute video and just read the rules, and I was like, this seems pretty straightforward. The first time I ever won a game of Doomlings was also the first time I played Doomlings, so a big slap in the face to everyone who bought me the game. I won, and I used the card Brute Strength, which I absolutely hate that card. Doomlings has that card, 4 power, -1 gene pool. Gene pool is your friend. Amazing.
Can you speak about the predictability or lack of predictability in the game?
You want to predict what's happening, but even if you can predict the traits that are in your hand, you can't predict the ages and the catastrophes. So like, if you lose control in one end of the game or the other.
If someone's never seen the game, what the artwork style is like?
Yeah, the artwork for Doomlings, think like very fun plushie brought into an aggressive anime. Still that kid-friendly game, but as an adult, I enjoyed the artwork. I even was going to custom holograph my flatulence card. Because I really wanted that in holo foil. It brings that fun where, like, if you're an adult, you read the little quotes that are in there, you'll get some puns there. It'll kind of boost that enjoyment of the cards. And then if you just like the artwork, you think it's cute. That's how I got my girlfriend to play Doomlings, and that's how I continue to have her playing Doomlings. Is I got some new cards. You'll see them when we play. My favorite part by far about Doomlings is the versatility of the game. The fact that I can have 3 games here combine them together and make anything I want. What we've done is we've even made like negative counter decks where we've taken confusion from all three, threw into a deck, we did everything negative and all three immunities, right? Plus it got variant art immunity, so we actually have 4. So you can just combine whichever parts of the game together and it will just kind of flow. You want to take all the kidneys from Overlush and throw it into your base game just to have like a kidney swarm game? Go for it. Like, you want to remove cards because you think they take too long of time to play? I've done it. I've removed Bones. He's gone. Like, I do not play with Bones. I'm not looking into the discard pile.
Stop whining.
Can you talk about some of your favorite characters and why they're your favorites?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Flatulence has to be my boy just for the artwork. I can't get enough of him. Psychedelic for the artwork and the fact that he just like makes the game insane. One of my favorites has to be Mammoth. Again, him and Gripplethorpe. I mean, Gripplethorpe is just broken. Like, the reason why I can't choose him is because it's too easy. It's too easy. Mammoth has to be the red version. So Mammoth has to be one of my favorite cards. Just bulky, beefy, 4-pointer. Like, gets in everyone's face, takes up some of the font because his image is so big. The box is amazing. This isn't the box that I got my game in. I bought this box additional. I had the base game. I gave the base game to my brother to get this shiny box, which is just shiny all the way around. It's crazy. They didn't even have to do this, but Doomlings made it so the back is holographic. And look at all those colors. I can't make it shine even more than I can here, but
A favorite Doomling memory.
one of my favorite Doomling memories is busting out Indomitable, just this beast, right? 8 points, -2 to gene pool. You're like, oh man, like he's worth so many points. So I played him. And then my turn circulated, I drawed opposable thumbs. And I was like, oh man, like I could duplicate 8 points? Like that's crazy to me. So I did it. And then I got stuck with Neoteny. And then I had to play the -3. I was so pissed.
So can you tell us about the Valentine's Day card that you made for your girlfriend?
So I made a Valentine's Day card for my girlfriend. It is a trait, obviously, very strong. I literally took all images I could find of Doomlings. I even gave him to hold a heart. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I'm not a graphics designer, but you know, I try my best. Christina and I talk about Doomlings all the time. So, and she's almost sick of it. She's like, you know, like we don't have to talk about it tonight. You know, maybe we can talk about work and my day. Christina is my sworn nemesis in Doomlings. So I decided to make her a card to gloat about my score. Some of the questions I have just being part of the community. Any rebalances that you think may come in time for the game?
I think the base game is really tight and really happy with the base game. Once we get into expansions, you know, we start to have really just out there ideas, trying new fun things. And occasionally we'll hear about like, oh man, I think we went a little too wild with that one. So we do have conversations about rebalancing. You know, when we did the Overlush Kickstarter, we came out with a rebalance pack that was the cards that were updated between the Kickstarter edition of the game and the retail edition of the game. Whether we're going to do that again, it's something certainly we're discussing. Even to this day, I know we get people that are asking about Righteous, for example. That's one that comes up quite frequently.
Serrated Teeth is probably the #1 I hear all the time.
Since you mentioned Serrated Teeth, this is a different Dino. When we were developing the Dino expansion with Tiny Arms, there was a point where it was totally. We played a version of it, and I had a friend score like 36 points or something based off of it. We were like, we gotta tone this down. Developing the game is a lot of fun. I know that people are asking about just kind of like, hey, you know, it'd be nice to have like, I want the expanded storage beyond what I can get out of a classic game box or a deluxe game box, but I don't quite want to spring for that collector's edition, which we totally understand. It's not for everybody. Certainly something we've talked about. I'm
more than happy with the box. And in fact, I've reverted back to, I run my 3 boxes. The base game, Overlush, and then the other base expansions, plus like the gene pools and stuff. So I actually like it because the 3 boxes keep me organized. And I just shove it in I have like that little orange suitcase thing that opens up. And it fits all my mats rolled up because I have all 15. So just like this big clump right in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would love it if we could make something that could fit that many playmats, but I don't know.
The canvas bag, I use it more like a belt. Like I wrap it around rather than putting it inside. Because even if I were to fit them, good luck getting them out. When you want to build the game larger and larger, like people are going to expect you to accommodate your whole future potential.
It's definitely something that we are always talking about, right? Like we love coming out with these expansions to keep people engaged, to throw in new fun ways to play the game. But with that, we have to recognize, right, that at a certain point, you can't fit all the cards in a classic game box or a deluxe game box, but it could fit a lot of cards, though.
Do you think you'll make any more cards like Gene Pool cards? Like you have the Spirit Bear ones. Do you think you'll make any other types?
I guess it's a question of, are the Gene Pool cards specifically something that people are excited about, like getting new Gene Pools? Because we know that people are excited about getting new ages or new trait cards, and we'll certainly make more of those. Gene Pools, certainly possible. There's always like kind of a different combination of colors and different designs that we could play with. It's certainly possible.
Do you think you may add on to any of the previous expansions, like the Dinolings, Techlings of the world?
So I will say with multicolor, for example, multicolor is one of those very interesting expansions that we put out because since then we have kind of integrated multicolor cards into other expansions, right? It's not necessarily its own self-contained thing anymore. Somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen to 18 multicolor cards in the Overlush expansion, right? So we'll probably continue to do that. Meaning of Life, we came out with the 18 cards that are in the deluxe bundle and the upgrade pack. We came out with the 30 cards that we put out as part of stretch goals during the Overlush Kickstarter. I can say those cards literally did not exist until we got into the Kickstarter campaign. Those cards were developed and tested. I mean, you can only test so much over the course of a couple of weeks, but those cards happened during the Kickstarter. TBD on whether there will be more Meaning of Life. I think 48 Meaning of Life cards is pretty good. Dinolings, Mythlings, Techlings. Yeah, we'll see. We put out a survey last year to see what the appetite is for more Dinolings, Mythlings, Techlings, and it certainly seems like something that people are interested in. So we are playing around with some different ideas. We may have something in the future.
You talked about Righteous. Righteous to me isn't a card that I guess is problematic. I think the wording sometimes confuses some people. I do see that quite often, where to me it's like, if you play it right, it's still a good valued card.
That's where, you get a card like Righteous. I mean, really a lot of cards that people have disagreements about. It really shows you how important a single word can be on a card and how it can affect someone's experience of the game. And funny enough, effect, I said effect, I didn't mean to emphasize that, but effects is the word in question on that card. Yeah, I think it's really just all about like, who are you in that interaction when you're playing the card? Because if you're the person playing the card, you want it to play in your favor and not the other player's favor. If we were to do another rebalance, to go back to your question, maybe we change that word to target, or we figure out some other word so we get closer to the intention, which is player one protecting player two from something player three is doing. Even to this day, there are just all sorts of new interactions that we're so like, I mean, we're thrilled to see, even if it's something that we have to kind of, internally debate. It's just fun. Part of it is like, oh, how do we not catch that? But part of it is also like, that's really fun that we have found ourselves in a position where this game still surprises us, the community still surprises us, and sometimes it is kind of fun to just throw out something that's just broken. And people can take it out if they want. They can leave it in.
Are we talking
you
about
mentioned
Skimmer?
psychedelic?
We're talking about Skimmer? Is it Skimmer?
Skimmer, sure. Skimmer,
Yeah.
but I specifically had psychedelic and the living library in my mind.
But it's fun because the possibility of you having even just that age in your age pile, that game. Second, you have to draw it while having a particular card, assuming you're playing with Overlush. The stars align for someone, or they read the card and they're like, okay, I'm gonna try to force this.
There are cards we sometimes question, like Ephegial -3, play at any time, and opponent plays an action. There are times where I'm like, is that too brutal? On the opposite end of the coin, Wild, 4 points, no effect, dominant trait. Did we nerf that too hard? There's certainly immunity. There are cards in the base game as we develop new expansions. One of the questions that we ask ourselves is, like, a new card doesn't hurt like a base game card. And if anything, it enhances the base game card, right? So immunity, for example, something that we always have in our mind is keeping the balance of having enough negative point traits in a given collection, right? If we put out a new expansion that's all cards that are 0 points or higher, suddenly you've really hurt immunity.
I like that immunity's one of its kind. When I look at a card like immunity, I want that effect. It's a base game card. Like, you don't have that in the Overlush. I think propagation.
Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna say it no more. Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on.
Gain 1 point for each card of face value of 1. Unreal card, because in the base game there's 26, so majority of the cards are valued at point number 1. You see how that shines, but then you see that kind of transfer through over. It still works. What's with imaginative? Am I allowed
What's
to
with
ask?
imaginative? I mean, you're allowed to ask any question you want.
I'm just gonna put a limb of a future expansion.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but there seems to be, like, some parts of that card are a little blurry. I'm not even, Lauren. How did that card get out there? I thought. I mean, we're. What is going on with that card?
We're not really sure what's going on. It's just
not really sure.
It just showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's possible we've been hacked. We'll have to look into, Lauren. We should look at maybe getting that card taken down. I think that might have been put out too early.
Everyone's seen it already, though.
That's true. It may or may not be from something that's in the cooker.
Yeah.
Use your imagination, I guess.
I don't think I asked you what your favorite Doomlings card is.
I like the cute ones. I like Floofy just because Floofy. That's the only reason.
Yeah, my favorite card is Boredom, and that would also be the card I would love to see a plushie of, because that is a card that Justice made for me. I have a small Instagram account where I look bored in pictures with celebrities in front of famous landmarks. That's just a dumb, funny thing that I do that I haven't updated in quite a while. I just thought the idea of the contrast in these exciting situations versus my stolen expression was kind of funny. Justice made that card for me. He drew it in less than an hour, and I was there when he did it.
Lauren, for you, would you get Floofy as a plushie?
Absolutely. I'm trying to get my cat to come over here because he's very floofy and he's like staring at me.
Chris started Doomlings. How did it begin? Did you guys see a game? You started playing and you're like, we could make something like this?
Yeah, I was shopping for a friend's, I think, birthday gift, and Justice was with me. We've been friends since college, and he was pitching me this game. At the time, was called Adaptation. I said we should change that name. There's a movie called Adaptation, etc. We went with Catastrophe for a while. There were some issues with that, and then we got to Doomlings. This was developed during the pandemic. I also lived down the street from Justice during the time that it was being developed, so we would go on walks and have long conversations about it. Even during the pandemic, we would test online if we couldn't meet in person. It's been a long road.
You guys made a massive card game. My scale of massive is this. But even just seeing, like, obviously the Overlush become a trading card game, TCG. If you go on eBay right now, the amount of listings I'll tell you for Doomlings is incredible. I've times gone through almost all of them. Parts of my days are gone. Just seeing how it's become such a collectible item for some, the alternative arts, seeing all of that come to life. How's that?
It's really emotional, right? Like Justice, Eric, myself, we all growing up had an interest in collectible cartoons. Whether it was Magic or for me it was Pokemon. I shared a story during our Kickstarter. I had my dad drive me to a card store to buy a Blastoise holographic for $35. Just a couple of years ago, I sold my entire Pokemon collection to someone. When I got home, I just burst into tears because, you know, those weren't just cards, right? That was my childhood. I know what like Pokemon meant to me, and the idea that we could even get like even 10% of what our game might mean to people, like 10% of that is incredible. Yeah.
So to share a same story with you, Chris, this is one of my binders of original first series Pokemon Holos, and I have some first editions. I have a Mewtwo graded actually, right there on my screen.
I see him.
Oh, I think I see it. Yeah.
Mewtwo graded. Unfortunately, it graded for a 3. As a childhood Pokemon card, I didn't take good care of it. It costed me as much to send it as it's worth, right? But like, that's what Pokemon was for us. Same deal. I sold the Charizard, and I was so upset when I got home. Like, I was actually upset right the moment I sold it because I did have guilt. Kid on the playground saying, "Oh, you'll never sell your Charizard. You're a wuss." And then I eventually sold it to him. It still sits in your mind. You like Charizard. You like the image. You like seeing that in Doomlings too, or like Flatulence to me, like. My group chat with my friends is Flatulence, the Doomlings card. Like it started taking over a little bit. If I could have that as a plushie, done.
Just be able to squeeze those little butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We should put like a whoopee cushion in it so it actually farts when you squeeze it. I do love the way you film the video. All the mats and then the way that you highlight the cards on the side. When I'm playing on like the tabletop sim, I have issues like going around looking at everyone's cards and I'm almost like, I wish that there was like a whatever card's being talked about like highlight button, just kind of like what you guys did.
Dude, you guys can laugh. We actually tape our phone to the ceiling.
You would be shocked the amount of masking tape used behind the scenes in anything.
Yeah.
Some of our first photos for social media, there's one where we've got card in the foreground and cards kind of blurred in the background. That is literally like a used up empty paper towel roll, and we placed the card on top of it. That's all it is.
Chris and Lauren, thank you so much for your guys' time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.